for peace sake as governorship candidates in the Ondo governorship election signed peace pact to avoid further bloodshed and violence ahead of Saturday's election. And President Muhammadu Buhari is set to present the 2021 budget to federal lawmakers at the National Assembly on Thursday. We'll tell you details of that budget plans shortly. Hello everyone and welcome to Politics Today live on Channels Television. We're reaching you live from Akure, the capital of Ondo State, where we are monitoring the governorship election and activities leading to Saturday governorship election here in the state. For you, thank you so much everyone and welcome on board. And we're already counting down to tomorrow, Wednesday the 7th of October 2020, when Channel Television alongside its partners, Civil Society Election Situation Room and the UK Aid will be hosting a governorship debate from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Keep it there with us tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Channels Television. And of course, we have our eyes on the election and some of the issues that are coming up about what the candidates are saying, what the people are saying, and what to expect in what may become one of the fiercely contested governorship election in the southwest state of Ondo State. Don't forget, it's an oil-producing state. It means a lot in the economy of the nation. So before we get started with the issues of the election, we have some very eloquent candidates will be talking to us tonight on the program. Let's tell you about the plans of President Muhammadu Buhari and 2021 budget. He will on Thursday present the 2021 appropriation bill before a joint session of the National Assembly. In a letter read by the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, on Tuesday earlier today, at the resumption of plenary, President Buhari is requesting the audience of lawmakers in both chambers for the presentation of the budget. The budget estimates will be formally laid by President Buhari at the House of Representatives chamber at 11 a.m. with President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, who also doubles as chairman of the National Assembly, presiding. The Senate is expected to consider and pass the 2021-2023 medium-term expenditure framework, MTEF, and fiscal strategy paper, FSP, before President Buhari submits the 2020 budget. Let's take a listen to the President of the Senate on that.
Presentation of 2020 appropriation bill. May I crave the kind indulgence of the distinguished Senate to grant me the slot of 11 hours on Thursday, 7th October 2020 to formally present the 2021 appropriation bill to the joint session of the National Assembly. While I look forward to addressing the joint session, please accept, Mr. Senate President, the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari.
Yeah, you heard the Senate President. So let's get talking about the Ondo governorship election. A lot of expectations on this election. Why is that so? Because after the Edo governorship election, a lot of people are saying, will INEC be able to keep that standard in Ondo? What about the police? Again, put those institutions aside. What about the politicians? Will they do their own part? We've seen a bit of violence in the last few days, and today we hope the event of this morning will change that trend. And ahead of that election on Saturday, candidates have signed a peace pact coordinated by the National Peace Committee in collaboration with Yaga Africa. Members of the National Peace Committee, including the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Bishop Matthew Kuka, commended the Independent National Electoral Commission for their performance in the Edo governorship elections. Other religious leaders present include the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Sahad Abubakar, and reaffirming their support while warning against electoral violence and urging all candidates to accept the outcome of the elections.
Please, it doesn't just end at signing.
INEC is the statutory body that is saddled with managing elections in Nigeria, but as the saying goes, you cannot lift a heavy burden with one hand. So to that extent, each and every one of us is a member of INEC in in supporting this process. We are all INEC members and we are all NPC members. So I once again would like to commend and congratulate the people of Ondo State. In the last few weeks, since the elections in Edo, there's been quite a lot of noticeable appreciation, and we're told that Edo set a gold standard. But if I remember, the chairman of INEC has already said that Ondo, and I believe the good people of Ondo, will do better and surpass what happened in Edo. And this is what will provide the building blocks of confidence for our people.
A signing of the peace pact by the candidates ahead of the election. Some of the flag bearers of some of the political parties affirmed their commitment to a violence-free process. Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of the APC pledged his commitment to ensuring a peaceful election, just as Iyita Jegede of the PDP asked security agencies to ensure the prosecution of offenders involved in the electoral violence.
What we have done this morning is to sign a peace accord. The contents that was read out to the hearing of everybody, not only for us. Let me again solemnly make my pledge here that I will abide by what was read and signed. I so pledge. On those state people, maybe learning from experience, have refused to be involved in violence. Elections here have always been very peaceful. I can assure you, sirs, that this election fixed for Saturday will be peaceful for as long as our security agencies are there.
I am absolutely committed to a peaceful election. Before the elections, i.e. in the process of campaign, during the main election, i.e. period of voting, and even after the elections, when the results must have been announced. I say that there is no option for us other than to follow a peaceful process. I believe firmly that fairness will be the principle applied by all, including INEC, whose responsibility also starts from the time of compiling voters' register up to the time of announcing the results. I implore our security agencies, especially the police, to ensure that they comply with the rules. It is not enough to say that we want to be neutral. Neutrality may mean staying aloof.
The Zenith Labour Party has always and will continue to conduct ourselves in a most peaceful manner, in a more democratic and a civilized way into this exercise. We have started, and the whole world is watching all of us. You have never one day noticed our campaign trail attacked, and we will never attack anybody. We continue to appeal. We'll go out and tell the voters what we have for them. We appeal for them, and they should consider all our programs and choose the one they think will be the best for those states. Having said that, we are praying to God that on the 10th of October 2010, our votes should be counted. We will count and should be counted.
So you heard some of them who committed to not provoking each other or causing violence on Saturday. But beyond that, if you are going to vote on Saturday, do you know what the politicians and the candidates are saying they would do, what they are agitating or what they are canvassing your votes for? Tonight, we'll be speaking to some of the most eloquent of in the race, and some of those who have come tops in the people's choices when we are asking whom you want to see debate and talk about some of their manifestos. Tonight, we have joining perhaps the youngest man in the race, a candidate of the YPP, Mr. Dotun Ojon. Thank you so much for coming tonight on the program.
Good evening. It's good to be here.
And also, we have the candidate of the ADP, Mr. Dakwa Adelegon. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
I think I should begin with you. I understand that you stepped down. You stepped down for a political party. Is that true?
That is not true. And I need to make it very clear that YPP is not for sale. And we are not ready to step down for anyone. It was very surprising. We were inside, I think, a meeting. Then the party chairman called me to tell me the news that it was on the media that the Young Progressives Party, as a party, has collapsed its structure for another party. And I said it is impossible. So I investigated that. Then this document surfaced as the press statement that was actually circulated. And we discovered that the title of the press statement says that 10 political parties. But at the back of it, after writing the name of the 10 political parties, as you can see here, somebody used pen to write YPP without the signature of anyone. For us, it's a sign that YPP has become a force in Ondo State that everyone wants to identify with. Because when we started, nobody gave us a chance. Nobody knew we could come this far. It's always been the judgment of, oh, he's the youngest candidate, he's going there to discuss.
Oh, you're really the youngest?
Yes.
Oh, okay, from my research also, you're really the youngest.
That is the youngest candidate.
So you have a chance?
Of course I do. If you put all the candidates together, with due respect, I'm about the only person who understands Ondo State more than every other person. I've been in the civil service here. I spent time here. Every part of my life, except for the last 4 years, has been spent here. And I did a 4-year research into the problem of leadership across Nigeria, domesticating it in Ondo State. I identified the problem of leadership in Ondo State. It is not lack of resources.
So you're the best man for the job?
Of course I am.
Let's ask Mr. Adelegon. You seem to, and so when we were talking about bringing both of you on the program, someone said you're going to have a good time because perhaps these are some of the most eloquent people that we'll find in the race. Is it true that you are also the best man for the... Your friend said he's the best man for the job. What about you?
My brother. So this election is not about eloquence.
Okay.
It's a serious existential election. The economy of this country is in shambles. The economy of this state does not even exist. Our people are jobless. It's one of the richest states in the country. There is no water. There are no transportation. There's a lot of issues. My stepping out is basically to transform the economy of Ondo State. I'm not the best. I can't be the best. It's a privilege to be one of few candidates for governorship in a state of almost 5 million people. But this is extraordinary times require extraordinary skills.
But I mean, when people say, when people say this is perhaps one of the most difficult times in our life,
it is.
To want to govern any people.
No, but
because coronavirus has created a lot of trouble.
But the reality is that if those who have capacity and competence, exposure, contact, knowledge about global economy do not step forward at this critical junction, then we're going to have a problem. There's nothing wrong with the governor or the past governor. They've done their best. But this time requires economic managers, for Christ's sake.
And you are the right man.
Look, I have 33 years experience in corporate Nigeria. I've handled some of the biggest chambers in the country. I am not boasting, but the reality is the fact that if this state will exist for another 4 years, we need to revive our economy. And you need somebody with the requisite experience and contact and capacity to do it.
And Dapsy, like some people call you, is the right man for the job.
It's not rocket science. It is just bringing to bear 33 years of exposure. And I've marketed Nigeria all over the world since 1999. I've impacted on the entertainment industry, and advertising industry, without sense of humility. The reality is that governorship is not a chieftaincy title. It's not a family title. Governorship, you can see the relationship. You must be able to deliver an impact on the lives of the people. If you've done 4 years and you have not been able to impact, quietly leave and let people with the capacity come and do it. So that's what we're saying. It doesn't matter what happens on Saturday. The people of Ondo State must decide whether they want to continue in abject poverty, joblessness, despondency, lack of salaries, lack of basic amenities, or they are ready to transit into an era of economic consensus.
I'm going to put both of you in some of the most difficult and the hottest seats that you perhaps have sat on in a long time. And it's about what your plans are and the manifestos that you have with your party put together for the people of Ondo State. And you must give us some answers tonight. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll go on a break. And when we come back, we'll be hearing from the man they popularly called Dapsy, Dapo Adelego, and perhaps the youngest man in the race, Dotun Ojon, a former journalist who is now a politician. Don't go anywhere, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on Politics Today on Channels Television. We're live in Akure, the capital of Ondo State, where Channels Television's crew are on the ground monitoring and following the coverage of the election for you. Tomorrow at 7 p.m., right here on Channels Television, we shall be having the Ondo governorship debate. And we're bringing to you tonight some of the top of the candidates that you have said you want to hear from. Dotun Ojon is a candidate of the YPP, the youngest in the race, and Dapo Adelego, the candidate of the ADP. Thank you so much. ADC, sorry. Thank you so much for coming, gentlemen. Let me come back to you, Dotun. Ondo State is an oil-producing state. But of course, we know that how unpopular it may be globally when we talk about oil and the global economy. And a lot of people are saying, let's look away from oil alternatives. For you, what do you have in your manifesto and the manifesto of your party as an alternative to oil economy? We know there is a single local government area in this state that produces oil in the state. But beyond the oil issue, what are the alternatives that you have?
Okay, I think we should make it very clear here that the problem with the state is not oil, either availability or unavailability. I'm going to ask you a very simple question, if you permit me. If I hit the street of Akure today, I ask about 2-3 people, when the nation was prosperous or when oil was booming, what was the benefit on the people? No benefit. So the major challenge we're having now is leadership. So we may continue to talk about, and that's why when we came up with the LEAP agenda, that's what we call our agenda. LEAP is L-E-A-P, and in Yoruba it means Gbera. It means that we really want to move the state from where it is now to where it's supposed to be. And the letter L there talks about leadership. So what are we going to do differently? We want to change the direction of leadership from power to people. The major challenge we have is traditionalism. Traditionalism is doing it the same old way and expect a different result. Traditionalism is when you sit, you know, when they install a traditional ruler of your community, it rules throughout life. So that's the mentality that people export into politics. Either they are doing well or not, they want to sit there, kill the entire community.
Well, how does that, I mean, the question I asked about the alternatives to oil economy for Ondo State.
Ondo State, I'm coming there. So when we get the issue of leadership right, then we are going to be able to explore agriculture, which is part of our LEAP agenda. LEAP is L-E-A-P. Now, agriculture, we are not going to do it in the old way that a lot of people do it. What we want to do, apart from having regional farm, is to be able to create an agency. I've traveled around Ondo State. The problem with an average farmer, I have a rice farm in Akure North local government, very close to us. The major challenge with the farmer is the fact that they have their produce, they do not have the market. The state must be deliberate in this. That's why, as part of our program, we have an agency called the PROMA. The PROMA is the Produce Marketing Agency. The idea of PROMA is to stand between the farmer and the market. So if you produce anything from your own community, you know that PROMA is coming to commit.
That's all. How much of that will your idea, you have said as an alternative to what has become a mainstay for the state, will generate? Do you have an idea?
We are looking at the fact that we will be able, because we don't want to be generous with figure, we will be able to sustain the economy of the state with it. Because Ondo State is very peculiar. And we are targeting at least 3 farm settlements in the south.
How much would that, in terms of figures, how much would that generate for you? Have you made the calculation?
Now, initially, we are going to invest about 3 billion naira in the investment. And the first 1 year, our target, because perhaps we are the only party that came with manifesto with a KPI, that within so number of months, this is how we want our people to mark us, whether we have done well or not. Now, this Initially, we want to invest 3 billion. And within the first 100 days of investment, of course, we are not expecting return. But within 6 months, what we want to be able to do is to be able to feed 40% of the Ondo State people.
All right.
Locally.
Let me ask Mr. Adelegon the same question. Do you have alternatives to the mainstay? Should there be a problem, as we have seen it, that COVID-19 has shot everyone in the face?
Well, the truth of the matter is that Ondo State is not only abundant with natural resources, but its geography is its greatest asset. Like my brother said, agriculture is the natural option after oil. And my party has decided that we, as a 4.5 billion population, we are surrounded by 45 billion population. 6 states: Lagos, Ogun, Osun, Edo, Kogi, and Ekiti. 44.5 million. Added to our 4.5. So we're really a 4.5 million population of the 50 million market. Now, across the borders of Ondo, and each of these 6 states are plantations, teak plantations, palm kernel, cocoa, cassava, that have been there since the Western Nigeria.
What would you do with that? And how are you open to
immediately we will create 6 economic zones around agriculture. 1,000 to 2,000 hectares around the primary crop. And each of these zones will not only be available in terms of processing, but also housing. You see, the youth are going to be the foundation of agricultural revolution, without prejudice to the old farmers. We will glamorize farming in Ondo State. We'll have a public enlightenment campaign to convince parents and the youth, unemployed youths, across the value chain. Agriculture is not just planting, it's a value chain. Harvesting, transportation, processing, storage. So it means that you can actually move 60-70% of our graduates, engineers, marketers, agri people, and so on, logistics engineers, to move into these economic zones. And that it will catalyze economic development. But more importantly, our geography. Almost 10 billion naira worth of goods are imported into Nigeria and manufactured in Lagos and transverse Ore, Ondo State, to the southwest. There's no other alternative route. We will turn Ore into a Chicago. We will make it a logistic hub. Let those goods spend a day or two in Ore. And let our customers from the southwest, come and pick them up. 48 hours of those goods with logistics and bonded warehouses will derive economic benefit from those states. Currently, they pack, eat panayam, eat goat meat, and then leave. All right. So I'm saying alternatives exist already in terms of our location as a hub for business from Lagos to South and the North, as well as agriculture across our borders with the 6 states.
All right. So another issue which probably we will wrap up with, and I'll get to your take, is the issue of security. I'm talking about security not only in terms of, I'm talking about social welfare also, because also that will guarantee less crime and invariably ensure some security for the people. What is your plan, in 1 minute, if you can tell our viewers tonight, in terms of security? Do you have a watertight idea on how to secure the people of Ondo State?
Of course, it's, what we came up is what we call IT, intelligence and technology, and it covers every aspect of security. The first thing we want to do is to have an idea of who you are. We want to know you. Because COVID-19 has made nonsense of every plan of government. Because to transfer palliative from one house to the other became a problem. Because the government does not even know its citizens. So the first thing we want to do within the first 3 months is to be able to identify the people that are living in Ondo State. When you have a sense that your government knows you, it's not just going to build confidence in you, it will also help you to behave well. I'm talking about both economic security and the security in terms of crime.
Will you give handouts to citizens, to probably indigent citizens?
What we're saying, the first thing is to be able to know who actually needs what.
Do you plan
what
to give
we want to do,
social incentives?
Of course, it could be part of the plan, but the first thing we want to do is to be able to know that Sheon earns 2,000 naira at the end of the month, and maybe he needs help or not. So that if there's a job, for example, we do not need to continue to tax our people to come and pay.
Are people overtaxed here?
Of course, yes. The only thing you hear here is tax.
All right. Let's allow Mr. Adelegon to talk on security.
On the strength of the foundation led by Sheon about technology and identifying who and who, I think the critical issue of security has to do with employment. A society that does not have an economy is a watering ground for criminality. Because basically, our children, our youth don't have jobs when they come out of school. Without jobs.
What's the employment rate of this state?
74% unemployment. 7 out of 10 graduates don't have jobs.
Should you be elected as governor, how much of that will you take away?
Look, industrialization. I will put 2 industries in Ondo State. That will, a brewery, for example, will take 14 months to build. An average one like the Trophy Brewery in Ibadan, in Elisha, will cost about 5-6 billion. You need 40% investors. Sunshine Beer will be the product. Each will employ 2,500 direct and indirect jobs. You see, there are things that we need to do as a government to stimulate employment. Without employment, criminality. Then school fees. School fees. A lot of our school children are at home. A level 10 officer in those things earns 60,000 a month. Shown. He has 4 children. He cannot even pay for the school fees of one tertiary institution. Our government will provide student loans. Nobody.
So we're out of time now.
Yes.
So we have 20 seconds per person for your closing thoughts. And I'm going to ask you, should you be elected as governor in your first 100 days in office, what would you do?
What I would do differently is what I said the other time. I will understand the people, I will know them, then I will be able to understand their peculiarity and use that to create an economy for the state. As we speak now, of course that's part of it. As we speak now, the problem of joblessness is not just a societal issue, it's also a mental issue. Majority of our graduates that are coming out of school are thinking about how they can get a job in government. So if you put a farm in place and you are not coming through employment through the government, the people will still run away.
So your first 100 days in office, that's what you do?
Mop up unemployment strategically.
Let's Mr. Adelegon, 20 seconds. In 100 days, should he be elected?
I mean, the truth of the matter is that the optics and the voice that comes from Ondo State is that we're a politically volatile state. So the first thing I want to do is to change that narrative that we're an economically active state. That is the beginning of driving investment from local and international investors to exploit our advantages for employability and to bring food to the table of our people and prosperity.
I must sincerely thank you. What a moment is being with both of you. Learned a few things from you guys. Thank you so much, Dapo Adelegon, candidate of the NDC, and Dr. Ojon, the candidate of the YPP. And I wish you the very best in the outing on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget, everyone, we'll be here 7 p.m. on the dot for the governorship debate right here on Channel Television in partnership with Situation Room and UKAID. Don't miss that experience, everyone. It's bye for now.